Madam, the password for today.
Okay, today the attendance password for the attendance is LED. No. Okay, LED. So Azam, so the stage is yours. There's no stage, but the virtual stage is yours. So you can share your presentation, and you have 50 minutes.
Should I keep track of the time, madam?
Okay, I will keep track of the time.
Okay.
Okay, we can see.
Can see, madam?
Yes, can see. Bismillah, you can start.
Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay, today I will share about light emitting diode, or we know as LED. Okay. First, what is light emitting diode or LED? It is a semiconductor device that emits light when an electric current is passed through it. Okay, I will share how the LED works for this first part. Okay, as we in the semiconductor class, I will explain how LED works in terms of energy band diagram. Okay, LED works when it is in forward bias only. When the forward bias P will be connected to the positive terminal, and N will be connected to the negative terminal. When the forward bias voltage exceeds the barrier voltage, it results the energy, as we can see at the right, it will result the energy band diagram on N side will rise until it's near to alike with P side. As the result, as both energy band diagram, energy gap, both sides nearly to alike, electron on the N side will easily cross the junction to the P side. You can see the difference on the left diagram, which is on the N side, there is a lot of electron, and the P side has left electron. But when the forward bias, the electron from N side can easily jump to the P side. As well, it's also happened to the hole at the valence band. It easily across the junction to the N side. So
what?
More yes.
Easily what?
Easily across.
What do you mean? What does it mean? What's the verb?
At side.
No, go on. It's not excite. Teruskan.
Okay, then more electron will be in the conduction band, as I mentioned before, of the P side and hole on the N side. So now both sides have large number of electron. I mean, on the P side and N side have large number of electron, and P side and N side got large number of hole in the valence band. So the recombination will occur in the large scale, so large scale of photon will release. Is it clear?
Go on.
So I will go to the second part. This is just a video, so you can imagine.
Sorry, is it only me cannot see the slide?
We can see the slide, but there's no sound.
I mean, it is something. Sorry,
Everyone can see the slide?
there's something that's covering the image. The video.
Ada warna hitam tu, tak tahu apa benda tu. Yang garis-garis tu, I think the template maybe the one that you use.
Can everyone see the slide? This, what is LED?
We can see it. Go to the video.
Yes.
Oh, to the video.
So this
This-
video, we can see the video, but there's no sound. I don't know
Oh
why.
yeah, I unmute it. I unmute it.
Okay.
I just want to show the graphical how it's happened. So all of you can imagine it. Is it?
No,
Okay.
you're supposed to go through lah the video, not imagine. You should explain when the video is happening, right? These are all the learning from you. Okay, so you're supposed to teach.
This is just what I have mentioned before in this photo, in this image. This only the graphical representative.
So
Yes.
you can just repeat while it's moving. You just narrate what's happening again, right?
Okay. If it's requested to do it, okay. When the forward bias, wait. Okay, when the forward bias, the energy band on the N side will rise until it nearly to align with P side. This side, the P side. This side. Then the electron from the N region, this N side, will easily to cross the junction to go to the P side, the P region. So both sides have more electron on the conduction band, and recombination occur in large scale and large scale of photon release. Okay, next. Okay, the second part is it comprises of compound semiconductor material, which is made up of element from group 3 and group 5 semiconductor, group 5 periodic table. Okay, as we have learned before, that there are two types of band gap, which is direct band gap and indirect band gap. The direct band, the LED use compound semiconductor material, which is in direct band gap. For example, gallium arsenide, gallium phosphide. For the indirect band gap, for example, the example is silicon and gallium. Okay. For the direct band gap, why LED use direct band gap? In the direct band gap, the electron it want to go to least lowest energy possible as possible. So it lose energy and recombine with the hole in the valence band. The energy that released from the recombination process, it release photon, while in indirect bandgap, recombination will release phonon. It means indirect bandgap, it will release light, while in indirect bandgap, it will release heat. So next, I go to type of LED. As I get this all type, I try to find the type of LED, and there are many websites, many sources that I found, but I got this type of LED. There are 5 types in these sources, in this website. The first type is threshold LED. This usually we use in our lab previous semester. It available in many colors, in various size. The second type is surface mount light emitting diode. This usually mounted on the PCB. PCB is printed circuit board. If you know, usually it's green color or blue color PCB. And most used SMD LED is 3528 and 5050. And the third type is bicolor LED. Bicolor LED.
Brother, this type of LED, maybe you didn't ask me whether this is suitable or no. The type of the LED here is the packaging, which is not the, what do you call it, the concern of this course. So type of LED ni tak boleh pakai. So you need to redo this. So that's why I was suggesting before anybody to just ask me. Nobody came to ask me whether what they have done is correct or no. So skip this one, go to the next one, Azam.
Okay. Actually, this is one of the structure of LED. You want me to skip also? Like,
What
this
is
is
it?
threshold LED.
Yeah, skip.
Okay, now we go to performance. Performance parameter. The first is the LED color.
Ke yang hitam tu, tak tahu apa benda hitam tu yang bergerak tu. Can you delete it?
Which one?
You don't see the black yang tu
This
on
one?
the right. You don't see it?
This is zoom.
Zoom yang buat jadi macam tu.
I have minimized it. Can you see it? Still
I
see?
see. Okay. Baru nampak. So you need to minimize it.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Go on.
So I continue again. The first performance parameter is LED color, which is different based on the wavelength and material use. The different wavelength and material use will produce different color for LED. Next, the luminous flux. Luminous flux. Luminous flux, the measure of precise power of light. It means it's only related to the precise power of light. I mean, it's only concerned about visible spectrum, as you can see in the figure, visible spectrum. If the source emit ultraviolet or infrared, if it is visible by human eye, it's not contribute to luminous flux. And the luminous flux can be measured using special chamber with lamp. The below picture is the special spherical chamber to measure the luminous flux. The lamp will be placed inside, and so it captures the entire luminous flux of the lamp. Next, the illuminance. Illuminance is the quality of light that fall on the surface. I will tell about this more in the next picture. The unit used is lumen per meter square or lux. Next is luminous intensity. Luminous intensity is the quality of visible light that is emitted in unit time per unit solid angle. And next, luminance, the intensity of the emitted light on a given area and direction. The unit used is candela per meter square or nits. Okay, we can hear. Luminous is the total light emitted by the luminous flux is the total light emitted by a light source in all directions. Luminous intensity is light emitted toward a specific direction within a given angle. This one. And the illuminance, the amount of light falling on 1 meter square area. And the last one that I mentioned before is luminance. Luminance is light reflected to eye. And next, luminance efficiency. It actually measures the efficiency at given light source convert power into visible light. For example, before this, we use what we call that. Now we use LED bulb, which is it only need less power to produce bright light. And the final performance parameter, reverse bias voltage protection. When large amount of voltage apply, a reverse voltage apply on the LED, it can destroy the LED. So some LED have this feature. For that, the LED is not destroyed or broken. For the current technology, LED are used in indicator and sign such as traffic light, also used in machine vision system, in the scanner, in the optical mice, also used in data communication, Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is
also the current technology also not according to what I want. Again, nobody asked me what does whether it's what intended for the cost. Current technology means that not the current technology of application. I didn't say it's application, right? I just current technology of the LED, meaning that what are the structure? How do they make the LED structure in terms of technology now? They put quantum dot, quantum well, or they put doping, modulation doping. In order to answer this, you need to read some papers, journal papers on the recent journal papers on this. So this is not what I meant by it's not. I'm not asking application. This is application. Okay, skip this one. Go.
Okay. Okay, the last one is Islamization. Okay, I take Islamization from Surah An-Nur verse 174. Auzubillahi minasyaitonir rajim. Ya ayyuhan nasu qad ja'akum burhanun min rabbikum wa anzalna ilaykum nuran mubina. For this, I hear or watch Surah Nisa by Numan Ali Khair in the YouTube. It tells that the word burhan is mean literally mean white and shiny, and some say that it mean a sword that is shiny and sharp that can cut anything. It is a proof that can cut off any argument or undefeatable, or it is undefeatable proof. And the words nur in this in this verse is mean clear light, clarify light, and some scholars say it is the Prophet Muhammad SAW, and some scholars say it is Quran. So I want to highlight about the Quran. It is from this surah. If we take the nur is a Quran, we can understand that the Quran is not the Quran able to cut proof any argument, and it is also nur. It means light to itself, not itself, but it also like to everything else around. I think that's all.
Okay, thank you. How to do this? Okay, never mind. We have a question answer, but there are two parts that you need to redo it next class. The part that you need to do yang current technology tu dengan apa tadi yang satu lagi part tu, types of LEDs. Okay, Azam. So that one kalau tak buat, you might fail the assignment. So I give you.
Next time I just present both two part, or
Yeah.
I have to present from it. Oh yes, okay.
Present that two parts only for next. For now, let's continue with this. Okay, thank you, Azam. So any questions from the floor?
Thank you, madam.
See the parameter from where?
Yes,
I
who's
want-
that? Solihin.
I want to see Azam parameter on LED.
Okay, Azam, can you show again the parameters?
Luminous efficiency, right?
Yeah. Can you see? Can you see the screen?
Not yet. Alright, now I can see. The other slide.
Oh, kena kecilkan yang zoom tu sebab warna hitam tu. Jadi kita orang nampak warna hitam.
Madam, dia klik-klik. So tak tahu apa. Dah itu lagi. Kalau present dia klik.
Aduh.
Right.
Baik. Di sebelah.
I think it's okay. I just because I want to see luminous efficiency, right? How well the LED show the visible light. Is it correct?
Apa, Solihin? I don't understand. I don't know whether Azam understand the question or not.
I just want to see the luminous efficiency where the parameter of how well the LED producing the visible light. Just want to see that.
I think Azam already hang or something. So, the rest of you who are going to present, if your mic is, we cannot hear, you better buy a new mic. Otherwise, you get 0 for the. If I cannot hear you, I listen to you get clearly in the assignment, it will affect your marks. So if your internet is not good for the assignment, go and I don't know, go to somewhere to get a good internet just for the assignment part for you to present. Okay, so hari-hari lain tak dengar suara pun, mic tak okey pun boleh diterima. Tapi hari presentation, your mic should be clear. Kalau tak clear, you won't get the marks. Okay, Azam, terkeluar pula.
Dia tiba-tiba lock off tadi.
Macam ujian lah. Okay. Ujian untuk saya. Saya sekarang buat ini, saya tak berhenti buat kerja repo pukul 9 non-stop. So tiba-tiba tu yang saya macam mood serius. Sebab banyak sangat kerja. Okay, Azam.
Madam.
Tiba-tiba jadi macam ni, nak serius pun tak boleh. Aduh lah. Orang lain dulu tanya soalan sementara Solihin tu nak buka slide. Can you send the slides in Telegram? So
I'm fine, madam. I just want to see that part only.
So that is not considered a question. So Azam, you can send the slide in the Telegram. So if other want to see the parameters, you can open your own. Okay? So that is not considered as part. Boleh Azam?
I already put the link.
Okay, in there too. So you can read that. Now, question.
Okay, so Azam, I got one question.
Yes, what is?
From the video that you showed earlier, right? You see the animation shows that the electron move from the conduction band of the p-type, I believe, n-type to p-type, and then it recombine at the p-type, right? But can the electron do recombination at the depletion region? Or what happened to the depletion region during the forward bias of the LED?
Okay,
Does it like still there, or is it completely like disappear?
Okay, good question. Azam, please answer.
Okay. Before this, we already learned the PN junction. So the LED, how LED works is just like the PN junction. So your question, the depletion region still exists or not? Is it?
Yeah.
Or
Is that your question?
Well, basically it contains two, right? So my question is, does the recombination can occur at depletion region?
Okay, number one, stop there.
Yeah.
Let him answer first.
okay, for the first question, before this, I also have watched another video that tell that the depletion region will be the recombination occur more in the wait, I see my note. Majority light produced by LED from the area. Majority light produced by an LED from the area of junction near to P region. It means that recombination Wait. The question is in the depletion region, is it?
Yeah. So what you said earlier, recombination happened at the junction near the P region, you said?
Yes.
So junction near to P region.
No, his question very clear, Azam. So listen to the question carefully. He asked, because in the video you showed that the recombination happens in the P region. Can the recombination happens in the depletion region? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, yes. Then that's the answer. Yes. So why are you complicating things? Faiz,
When I suddenly get confused, but I think it's yes.
Okay, so the answer is yes. Your next question, Faiz?
Okay, so well, if the first question basically answer the second question, which is, does the depletion region still exist during the forward bias of the PN of the LED? Sorry. So
the answer is, Azam?
The question is?
Alamak.
The depletion region exists or not?
Okay, yeah. So during the forward bias of the LED, okay,
Yes.
when the recombination
The
happens,
answer is yes.
does
The answer is
okay,
yes.
there you go.
Okay. Yes.
There you go.
Saya senang tu jawab. Okay, next question. We don't have time. Semua orang, and then saya ada berjuta soalan nak tanya awak Azam. So sebab tu saya nak cepat-cepat orang lain go through. Next question.
I want to ask,
Aiman.
why cannot do at reverse bias?
Okay, answer.
As we learned before, when the forward bias, the N will be connected to the positive terminal and the P will be connected to the negative terminal. So the positive terminal will attract electron from the N-type, and the atom lose electron and become positive ion. So the depletion region will
Okay,
become.
you're not answering the question. Can you answer the question directly? Again, Aiman, ask the question clearly. Azam, answer directly. Okay, Aiman, ask again.
Why cannot the LED works in reverse bias?
Okay. Why the LED cannot work in reverse bias? I changed the English.
Because no current can pass through.
Okay, kan senang jawab macam tu Azam.
Saya nak terang pada awal macam.
Dia tanya yang tu, awak jawab yang tu. Lepas tu, kalau tidak, satu kelas ni untuk awak je nanti. So, cannot because of there's no current. Flowing. Kalau saya akan tanya sikit lagi soalan. Aiman, you don't have more question? Kalau tak ada, saya tanya awak Aiman nanti. Kalau awak rasa awak dah faham.
Please ask Aiman.
Aiman, ada lagi soalan? Rentetan pada soalan awak tu. So what? So kalau ada current, so what? Okay, tak apa. Aiman tengah fikir. Kita next question. Aiman, you get ready for the next question. Orang lain? Semua orang kena tanya soalan. Cepat. Kau tak saya potong markah sebab tak tanya soalan. Lambat tanya soalan pun saya potong markah siapa yang lambat. Sebab saya dah beritahu kena tanya soalan. Okay, who's next?
Kalau saya nak tanya boleh madam?
Awak tak boleh tanya. Awak cikgu hari ini. Awak sepatutnya tanya saya sebelum hari ini. You know?
Did the LED need high dope PN junction?
Again?
Does LED need highly doped PN junction?
Okay, that's the question. Azam?
My answer, I don't.
You're the teacher, you're supposed to answer something.
You can give me time. I will answer in my next presentation.
Okay, so bring it to the next. Make sure you write down Solihin the questions.
About the highly doped, yeah. Right? Can you repeat the question? I want to write.
LED use highly doped PN junction or not?
Oh, yes or not?
Soalan pun dia senang je, yes or not je.
But the teacher have to research first.
Teacher, you supposed research before today, teacher, not after the presentation. Ayo. Next question. Hamali, Aina dengan Najwa. Tiga orang je. Nak tolak markah, tak payah tanya soalan. Saya tolak. Yes, Najwa.
Hello. Does P-type and N-type have same amount of doping?
About doping as well. Next class also. I don't know itu.
Allah, tanya soalan banyak lagi soalan layak boleh tanya. Okay, Najwa soalan. So boleh diterima tapi markah soalan yang tidak berapa mencabar sikitlah sebab sama dengan soalan Solihin. Okay, dua lagi calonnya nak tanya soalan.
For the LED, is it better to use intrinsic or extrinsic semiconductor? The pure or not?
What?
Okay, can you ask again?
For the semiconductor used in the LED, do we use intrinsic or extrinsic?
Azam answer.
Extrinsic.
Huh?
Extrinsic.
Why?
Why?
Extrinsic.
Soalan senang je ni Azam. Kau tak menjawab juga tak tahu.
Tips is in the diagram.
Intrinsic.
What's the answer?
Intrinsic.
Why?
Because it use two different element. It is compound semiconductor. Just to it is compound semiconductor material.
Aku kena muat dengan kompang pula ni.
Is it?
Ayo. Satu, when I listen to the question number 1, the one who asked the question, I don't know whether you understand PN junction or not, Hambali. I mean, it makes me like question whether you understand or no. And Azam, the way you answer also worries me. From this question answer, I know I can gauge how much your understanding of this course. Awak tak faham ke soalan saya? On the PN junction. Saya dah tengok video dah. Saya suruh tanya soalan. Tapi bila presentation boleh jawab soalan, awak tak boleh jawab. Tanya soalan pun, tanya soalan yang it's like you shouldn't ask that. Bukan nak kata macam intrinsic or extrinsic. To answer that question, I will answer that question. I will ask you back the questions. Kalau saya jadi Azam, awak tanya balik Hambali tu. So LED is a PN junction. Can to make a PN junction, can it be intrinsic semiconductor? Hambali?
No.
Hambali?
I think no.
Why not? Do you know what's intrinsic and extrinsic?
The intrinsic, the pure.
Yeah, so nama pun PN junction, brothers and sisters. PN. P is extrinsic, N extrinsic. So if you don't have the extrinsic there, you don't have P, you don't have N, you don't have any device, right? So that's why I said the question also scary. And also, kalau saya layan the question, mungkin soalan tu soalan trick. Okay, kalau soalan tu saya tak tahu soalan trick ke soalan mau tak tahu. Kalau soalan trick, the answer is it can be both intrinsic and extrinsic. Why? P and N is extrinsic, right? But the depletion region, sebab tu some types of LED yang awak kena buat balik Azam tu, for example, is the PIN LED. I stands for intrinsic. PIN junction. PIN. I tu is the intrinsic part. So you can have the intrinsic inside a LED. Okay, tu saya bagi dia satu hint type of LEDs that you should look for.
PIN.
Dia ada banyak lagi benda lain. Itu basic lepas PN junction. You have PN junction, you have PIN, then you have la. It was from the structure of the LED. Okay, next question, Aina.
My questions already solved just now.
I don't care. You need to have another question.
Okay. I was looking at the slide and I was thinking about the wavelength range, and does the wavelength how can the wavelength affect maybe the production of the LED?
Okay, Azam, answer.
How the wavelength affect the production of LED? Is it?
Yes. Soalan cepu mas. Saya pun akan struggling. So Aina, ini soalan tu kau kena jawab lah.
Madam.
Siapa jawapannya?
The okay. The color of LED is determined by the wavelength and the material used. Okay. If I'm not mistaken, I read that the different wavelength, the different color will produce by using the different wavelength. Oh, no.
Okay.
Okay. About
Mana aku dapat jawab final exam ni on LED?
Okay.
Okay, stop here. I think brother Azam, you need to present everything again next class. Everything from starting. Okay, because I'm not happy. Otherwise, you'll get very low marks, and I'm sure you don't want very low marks for your semiconductor device. So I'm giving you a second chance to present again, especially how the LED works. I'm not happy. That is the most crucial part of how the marks for the presentation. You need to be very clear with the right wording of how the carrier is moving, what are the mechanism. You know, it must be very, very, very clear. And you should use the wording and the mechanism that you already learned in the class. Okay, so I give you another chance to present next class, and all of you can have the opportunity to ask again next class. Okay, so today is the rehearsal to Azama. Okay, next. Saya takkan tanya soalan sebabnya saya rasa macam kalau saya tanya pun saya rasa tak bersedia dan mungkin will affect your marks. So I give you a second chance. Okay, next ialah LED. Ada lagi yang buat LED? Seorang je. So Azam, make sure you do a good job next time. Sebab kalau tidak, saya rasa kawan-kawan ni tak faham pun how LED works. Kalau saya tanya dia orang ni, I don't think they can answer. Okay, so dia orang berharap awak nak faham how the LED works. Now, let's go for laser. Who's doing laser? Aiman, seorang je? Aiman seorang je? I thought dua orang. Bukan dua orang balik.
Dengan Soleh.
Okay, Soleh. So, who wants to go first? Aiman or Soleh?
Alphabetically, Aiman, madam.
Apa dia?
If we using alphabet, Aiman.
Oh, ya ke? Alphabet. So, Aiman, Solehin dah kata pakai alphabet. So, silakan. You have, you can share your slide, Aiman. Our time yourself. Okay, so you have 15 minutes from now. Lima belas minit saya stop.
You see the slide?
Yes, we can.
Oops. Sorry. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today I will present about laser. Can you hear my voice clear, right?
Yes, clear.
First is the definition of laser. What is laser? Laser stands for light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation. This device emits light through a process of optical amplification based on the stimulated emission of electromagnetic radiation. So its name is basically derived from its functionality, the optical amplification and stimulated emission. There are some applications of laser such as barcode scanners, laser printers, optical disc drive, skin treatments, cutting, and much more. So we can see that laser is very important in our life. There are several different classifications of laser such as gas laser, solid state laser, fiber laser, and so on. But today I will present about semiconductor laser. So how does it works? There are 3 processes involved in laser. First one is energy absorption process. So when a certain voltage is applied at the PN junction, the electrons absorb energy and they're excited to a higher energy level. So as we can see the diagram over here, the electron occupies higher energy level by absorbing energy. The electrons stay in this excited state without recombining with holes for a very small duration of time, very small, about nanosecond, because electron like to be at the ground state rather than the higher level energy state. Because we can imagine electron like a ball, and the energy level like a mountain, a very steep mountain with a pointy top. So which position that the ball is most stable, at the ground or at the pointy top? So it is ground, right? Then the second process is the spontaneous emission. Before this, the electron excited to the higher energy level by absorbing energy. The energy is actually a photon. So when the electron recombine with the holes, as the electron fall from higher energy level to a lower energy level, the difference in energy is converted into similar photons before the photon hit the same energy. Yes, the same energy. The energy of emitted photon is given by the difference between the 2 energy level. It must be exactly the same. The energy of the photon must be exactly the same as the difference between the higher energy level and the ground level. Until at this point, the process is quite similar to LED. But what makes laser difference is the third process, which is the stimulated emission. From the name laser itself, it has stimulated emission. What happens if the photon that hit the atom, the electron, is already at the top of the higher energy level? So like the diagram show at the right, the electron already at the higher energy stimulated by existing photon, and then there is a new existing photon coming. Instead of electron absorb the photon, the electron return to ground state, and as we know, the electron will emit photon, and it is surprisingly that it is unique phenomena. The photon that emits from the electron is perfectly coherent to the to the existing photon that coming before this. So that's the key of laser, that the photon must be perfectly coherent. To increase the before that, from this point, the two photon that emitted just now will undergo like chain reaction. The two photon will hit the two atom, and then it will produce 4 photon, and then 4 photon will hit another 4 atom to produce 8 photon, and so on. So, but this is still not enough for laser. To increase the concentration of the photon, a partially reflecting mirror is used on either side of the diode, so that the photons released from spontaneous emission are trapped in the p-n junction until their concentration reaches a threshold value. The two mirror is not the reflective index is not quite the same, because after some threshold, the concentrated photon will go pass through the less index mirror, and that is where we got laser light. These trapped photons stimulate the excited electrons to recombine with hole even before their combination time. As I said earlier, this result in the release of more photons that are in the exact phase with initial photons, and so the output get amplified. Once the photon concentration goes above a threshold, they escape from the partially reflecting mirror, resulting in a bright monochromatic coherent light. So these are the 3 processes involved in the laser semiconductor. Next, I will talk about the differences between LED and laser. LED emits light as the consequence of charge carrier recombination across p-n junction, as Azam presented earlier, while laser emits light as a result of photon striking the atom and compels them to release the similar photon. So the principle used by the LED is different, which is the electroluminescent principle, while the laser is works on the principle of
Where do you get this?
emission. Where I get this? Internet.
Huh?
Internet.
You don't even put the reference there.
I have the reference at the end of the slide.
But you're supposed to put here the table and the reference next to it. Number 1, 2, 3. We know which one, right? Otherwise, you put all the references at the back. We don't know the references.
After this, I will put my slide with in the Telegram with the.
But I'm not agreeing with this per the photon striking the atom. I'm not happy. So can we skip this one? You can look at it later. Next.
Next is the types of semiconductor laser.
So what's your energy band diagram of the how the laser works?
Yeah, earlier ni bukan.
This is not the device. This is a material. So that is like 50% of the mark for the assignment to give me the energy band diagram of the device, of the laser. This is not laser. This is just a material. It's a p-n junction, right? So where's my p-n junction of the laser?
So it's not complete. Okay, I understand.
Okay, go to the type.
So the first type is double heterostructure laser. The layer of low bandgap material is sandwiched between 2 high bandgap layers, as we can see here at the diagram. There are 2 different material, A and B, for P-type and N-type. So each of the junction between different band gap material is called a heterostructure. This laser type, the advantage, the region where free electrons and holes exist simultaneously, the active region is confined to the thin middle layer. So the more of the electron hole pairs can contribute to amplification. Next is quantum well laser. Compared to double heterostructure laser just now, instead of two different material for P and N type material, it replaced with quantum well with low band gap material. A laser in which the active region of the device is so narrow that quantum confinement occurs. The wavelength of the light emitted by a quantum well laser is determined by the width of the active region rather than just the band gap of the material. This has a greater efficiency than double heterostructure laser because the density of state function of electrons in the quantum well system is very high. Next is separate confinement heterostructure laser. This type is like the combination of two lasers I mentioned earlier. As we can see here at the diagram, there are different material for P and N type with different band gap, and also there is quantum well in the middle with also different material with even low band gap. So this layer have a lower refractive index than the center layer and hence confine the light effectively. It has high efficiency as quantum well laser, but with better light confinement. Next is the performance parameter. This diagram over here can show us some parameters for the laser. First is the output light versus input current curve, also known as LI curve. The blue curve. This can measure the amount of light it emits as current is injected into the device. Then you can see from this diagram also the threshold current density. This parameter can identify the exact current value at which the phenomenon of emitting light takes place. Depends on the quality, size, and area of semiconductor material. Then we also can see the slope of the LI curve just now. It shows the efficiency of output light with respect to input current. Rapid increase in the output light emission with slow increase in the input current. Then the fourth parameter is the temperature sensitivity of the device. The temperature will tell us the ability of the laser diode to perform well at elevated temperature. Then lastly, the internal quantum efficiency. The efficiency in converting the electron hole pairs into photons with the laser diode structure. This parameter can help us to compare the material quality of various lasers. Then the current technology. First, it is the all-silicon laser. The all-silicon laser using silicon nanocrystal with high optical gains. Because of that, it increased the density of silicon nanocrystal in the gain layer in order to significantly enhance the light intensity. It applied a unique approach of high pressure surface passivation to the gain layer. Monolithically grow a light source or a laser on silicon substrate for integrated silicon photonics. This technology is is great because as we can see at the band gap versus lattice constant graph, the silicon is actually does not emit light, visible light.
Okay, you have like 1 minute lah.
So unlike the tri-5 compound lasers, the silicon laser do not suffer lattice mismatch. So that is the advantage of this technology. Lastly, the monolithically integrated holmium laser. The gain of the laser is provided by holmium doped aluminum oxide glass deposited through reactive co-sputtering process. The feedback of the laser is achieved by a wafer-scale silicon nitride grating fabricated in a standard CMOS foundry. The advantage is the lasing on silicon wafer beyond, it can go beyond 2.0 micrometer wavelength. The lasing wavelength can
30 saat.
the lasing wavelength can be controlled by changing the film thickness. Last but not least is the Islamization. Just like electron just now, it will stay at the ground state level as long as there is no energy energy to excite the electron. Sometimes like us also, the humankind, we sometimes at the lowest state in life, like don't have enough money, stress, but Allah said in Al-Quran, Surah Ash-Shar, verses 5 and 6, so surely with hardship comes ease, surely with that hardship comes more ease. So if you feeling down, remember to ask guidance from Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, because Allah also said in Surah Al-Fatiha, verse 5, you alone we worship and you alone we ask for help. So to get guidance, only ask help from Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. And that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Aiman, for the presentation. Can you stop sharing? Okay. I will also give you a second chance to do presentation on how the laser works. Okay, it is not clear, and the energy band diagram of the device, the PN junction of the laser is also not there. So you're supposed to explain how the laser works according to the energy band diagram of the device, which is the PN junction.
Only that part, madam?
Okay, only that part. So because that, but I think the one that before also not clear. They talk about the mechanism. Tak tahulah kalau orang lain faham. Saya tengok saya tak faham. So you can repeat that a bit more because it's crucial in understanding how the laser works. The rest is good. So you have the the types are also good. The parameters also good. You covered the things that I want. Now let's open. So I wonder, should we have the question answer today or after you listen to how the laser works, brothers and sisters?
Later, madam, later.
Kenapa later? Because he's your friend or what?
I think how laser works so like blur.
I think it's better
okay.
for later, madam.
Yeah.
Later. So Aiman, make sure you present clearly. So especially laser LED should have a very tough question for the laser. If you understand the LED, Azam, you should be able to ask. You need to understand laser. The best person to understand laser other than laser group is LED. So if the LED cannot understand laser, the photodetector, the solar cell will be in much more trouble. Sebab dia lagi tak faham lah. Okay, so I'll give you, so next class, you can present only that. And then the rest of you, make sure if you have question on the types, Make sure you remember, you jot down the question. Right, okay. All right, so I also will postpone my question to next when you present because that is crucial. How the LED laser solar cell work is crucial. That will be 50% of the whole assignment cost. Yang tu yang saya nak dengar sangat-sangat. And it must be clear that your friend can also dalam exam boleh lukis, boleh draw, boleh explain. Sampai masa tahap tu. Kalau tak sampai tahap tu, maknanya you didn't manage to do a good job in the presentation. Okay, so next. Who's next? Liza, Solihin.
You using your phone?
You need to click present. Click present. Okay, go on. You have it 15 minutes from now.
Solihin, you're muted.
Oh my God, I'm sorry.
There you go.
Okay, thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Salihin. I'm going to present about laser today. Okay, laser stand for light amplification by stimulated emission radiation. Laser is a device in which a diode is pumped directly with the electrical current. Okay, electrical current that create lasing condition at p-n junction. Laser is the source of highly directional monochromatic coherent light. Okay, it's difficult to understand, right? Okay, highly directional mean that the light of the laser, it's moved on one path and it has narrow beam and specific direction. Monochromatic means that laser have one wavelength, and coherent light means that the wavelength of the laser is in one phase different. Okay, this is the structure of laser. All right, as you can see here, this is the structure of this is the structure of This is homogeneous structure of laser. Okay, as we can see here, homojunction laser. I'm sorry, this is the structure of homojunction laser. As you can see, there is p-type and n-type. Okay, for the junction is we call it depletion region. We call it active layer. Okay, for the structure, the internal of p-n junction is polished to be a mirror, which is the internal p and n-type is polished to be a mirror, and two sides of the p-n junction is rough to prevent lasing across the diode cavity. That's mean it doesn't want to it doesn't want the photon in there escape, and one side of the structure is cleaved to make a highly reflective surface. It means that if the photon in there reflects hit the wall, it can reflect back. And the last one is one side of the cleave is one is also cleaved, but this side is cleaved to, so it's partially reflective surface, so the photon can be emitted and the light can be emission. Okay, how does laser work? Okay, the requirement for laser to work, there's three requirement, which is direct band gap. The second one is population inversion. The third one is optical resonance cavity. The highly doped p-n junction is related to populated inversion. Okay, laser need to be work in direct bandgap, because in direct bandgap, when electron recombine with hole, electron it will produce a photon, and in laser we want light, right? So we have to be in direct bandgap, because in indirect bandgap the heat will be produced and we don't want it. Okay, so population inversion. Population inversion is the state where the concentration of electron in condition band is higher than the concentration of electron in valence band. As we can see here, when the concentration of the I'm sorry, I will go back to that after this. Okay. In thermal equilibrium, in normal p-n junction, the concentration of electron in valence band is higher than conduction bands. That's why electron used to excite and get to the conduction band when it excite, like this observation here. But in laser, we use highly doped semiconductor, because when highly doped semiconductor, the conduction band will have majority carrier high concentration of electron, and the valence band will have high concentration of hole. That is the one that we want. But in the laser, between these three, we want stimulated emissions here. We want stimulated emission here because in oscillation, the electron will go up to the conductance bands, but in spontaneous and stimulated emission, the electron will go down to the valence band and it will produce proton. We want that happen in laser. However, in spontaneous emissions, the photon created by spontaneous emission is randomly. The direction is randomly. So we want our laser to be efficient. So we have to take the condition of the laser to be stimulated emissions, where the photon will have the same directions, so we can produce a better laser. All right. The third requirement for laser is optical resonant cavity. In order to have a laser, in the junction, we need a large field photon energy field to enhance stimulated simulation. In order to enhance these stimulated emissions, to improve it, we must have a very high field of photon energy. Okay, photon density build up to large value through multiple internal reflection at certain density. Because of our p-n junction is mirror, so it able for the photon go larger through multiple internal reflection within the mirror, and this optical resonant cavity, it will allow the beam of light to circulate in a closed path, which means the photon will able to reflect in the p-n junction, so it will create optical resonant cavity, which will make us to get stimulated emissions. Okay, how does laser semiconductor work? Okay, this one is the Venn diagram of homogeneous laser. Okay, as we can see here, this Venn diagram is highly dominated p-n junction. As we can see that the Fermi level here, can you see my arrow?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
arrow, no error.
Okay. As we can see here, the Fermi level here at P region, the Fermi level is below valence band, and at N region, the Fermi level is above conduction band. This is because it is highly doped. When the PN junction is highly doped, the Fermi level will show the concentration of free carrier, right? So the free carrier in the PN junction is whole. So it will be here. And because it's very, very high concentration, it will be lower than the conduction valence band. In the N type, the Fermi level is above conduction band because the majority carrier is electron, and because it's high concentration, so it will above the conduction band. Okay, this is the PN junction when at zero bias. However, when we provide current, it will be forward bias. We provide current in forward bias. The Fermi level will move at P. The Fermi level at P type will move down, and Fermi level at N type will move up. When this happens, it will shrink the depletion region. As we can see here, the depletion region become narrow. So electron inject from conduction band in N region to depletion region. And the electron here will be injected into the depletion region. And hole here will be injected to depletion region here. And when it's occur,
What's the right word to use? Is injected. What's the mechanism that makes the current flow?
recombination.
Injection is recombination.
No. Excited. Excited. Right?
Injection is excited. What is excitation? Okay, go on.
The flow. I think. Okay.
Huh?
I think it's the flow of the
Yeah.
push.
So what is the mechanism of the flow? We learned this on the class already.
Oh,
Okay. So
Okay.
everybody, the mechanism is very important. I keep on asking apa nama ni Azam. So I ask you apa Aiman tadi tak clear, saya tak tanya. So go and find out what's the mechanism. Okay, go on.
Okay. When this happens, recombination will occur and current will flow. And when we give larger voltage to the forward bias, the forward bias will increase enough with high voltage, then high injection of carrier will there will be high injection of carrier into depletion region. Okay, as we can see here, even though there's injection here, but it's lower. But when we give enough voltage, it will become higher. And when it's become higher, the concentration of the high electron concentration at depletion region from N, there will be high depletion region. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, when we give voltage here, this part, I'm sorry, I cannot. This part will have a very high concentration of electron, and this part will have very high concentration of hole. When it's very high, then they will perform recombinations, and when this one we will call it NE. This one we call it NEC, which is the density concentration of electron. And when here, the concentration of electron at here become high, the concentration of hole at here will become high also. But because we use concentration of electron, we will see that the concentration of electron is low, because when the concentration of the hole is high, then the concentration of whole electron will be low. So when this occur, this will specify the, oh my God, this will specify the population inversion. The population inversion where we can see the NEC is greater than NEB. This is concentration of electron is at the condition band is greater than concentration electron in valence band. And recombination happen at in active region, then it produce photon, different type of device. Before this is homojunction, and after this is double heterostructure laser diode, and the third one is quantum well laser. And heterojunction laser is where we make a junction of two different semiconductor type, and the most common use is double hetero laser, where between the different two semiconductor type, we put a tiny layers of small gap semiconductor, which we sandwich it between the less band gap semiconductor. When we do this, we need less current to obtain population inversion. So it's easier for us for the electron to recombine with the hole without need a large voltage, so it can produce photon. The third one is quantum well laser. Okay. In quantum well laser, active region of the device is very narrow. Because of this, it will lead to quantization of the energy level. And we see here, the lowest quantum energy of conduction level is at level above the band gap energy. And the lowest
1 minute lah.
And the lowest quantum energy of conduction level is at above the band gap edge. As you can see here, it's become closer. The band gap is become narrower. Thus, energy can emit photon increase, and the wavelength in the quantum well will be decreased. Performance parameter. The performance parameter is first is laser power, which means the normal working power and maximum working power for the laser. The third is peak power for both operation. The third one is wavelength of the laser. This wavelength of the laser is related to stimulate energy transition. The third one is focus spot size, which is maximum energy density can be achieved when the laser beam power is set. The fourth one is depth of the focus, which is the distance over which the laser beam have the same density. The current technology is, as I said, is photonic crystal surface emitting laser, PCSEL. The advantage of it is it has low cost with high speed and power. It has 3 benefits where other laser usually have 2. It utilizes a 2D granting structure with scattered light linearly and orthogonally. The PCSEL can made at any wavelength, so we can use it to address a wide breadth of applications. This is the PCSEL. Okay. For Islamization, Allah is the light of the heaven and earth. His light is like an inch in which there is lamp. The lamp is in the crystal is in the shining star, lit from the oil of a blessed olive tree located neither to east nor the west, towards our world almost glow, even without being touched by fire, light upon light. Okay, I'm sorry. Let me make it short. As I search, the researcher already have a chlorophyll fluorescence light where it's in the satellite. This thing can take a map of this world, and this thing offer a new view of world land. Using this thing, we can able to tell immediately if plant are under environment stress before outward sign. Okay, if plant are going to die, if we see with our visible eyes, the plant will become the leaf will become yellow and brown. But using this technology, we can detect it earlier if the plant is stressed, so we can treat the plant before it dies. As we know that the plant absorbs light. However,
10 seconds.
what if the plant absorbs too many light? If the plant absorbs too many light, the plant will glow. This phenomenon is called chlorophyll fluorescence. Okay, as the plant grow, Allah already stated in the Quran that olive oil can glow, which is mean the researcher just found that plant can glow, but Allah already stated in Quran, as here is the example of the olive oil can glow, yeah, because of the laser beam. This one is a laser beam. This is the evidence of the truth of Quran. I think that's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so let me comment before we open. Overall, I like the starting is very clear. You covered most of the important points of how what is a laser and how it works. You cover it, but I'm not sure whether your friends understand or not.
Yeah.
So, but all the things that I want you to cover, you cover very good. So, and apa nama ni, only on the current technology which not you don't properly apa nama ni, I don't really understand the current technology. Maybe need some more explanation. But overall it's good, because overall good when I say when you cover how it works properly, you cover all the points, then I would say it's good. Then the only thing is, I think your Islamization part not very clear. How does that relate to the semiconductor lighting? There's some a laser at the end, but still I don't get the connection, the exact connection. If you want, I can give a second try for you for the Islamization. If not, then you just accept whatever the marks on Islamization. So up to you, Salihin. You want a second try?
I can give you the second.
Sorry?
I can give you the second Islamization.
Okay, so tomorrow lah. Yes, second to tomorrow you will present
Alright.
that. Okay,
Just on Islamization, madam.
Just on the Islamization. The rest of it, I think, is there. Tapi based on your friends to ask question. So I think the question for your presentation, let's bring it tomorrow as well. Everybody, you wrote down your question, right? So let's listen to Aiman, and then we have the question and answer for laser together. So you can choose who you want to ask, to Solihin or to Aiman. So you have two teacher. So both of them should be able to answer all of your question lah. Boleh? Okay, so make sure you write down your question. You should have two questions, one for Aiman, one for Solihin, because laser is, if you understand laser from that presentation, I salute you. So dua lah, salute lah. So it means that if you don't understand, it means that you need to ask good question in the next class so that you understand. See, because you are supposed to answer this in the exam. Okay, 104. Let's go for the next one. Who's next? Photo detector, right? Yes.
It's time, madam.
Sama?
I think it's 1 already. 1 o'clock already.
Oh, we're supposed to stop at 1. Sorry, forgot. Ya Allah, saya ingat pukul 1.20. I'm so enjoying this, You can tell how I'm enjoying not teaching and then just ask you question. Okay, thank you. Saya mati-mati 120. Okay. All right, so we'll continue next class with a first presentation by LED. Azam, make sure you cover that part very concisely, yeah. And number two, then Aiman will present on how the laser works, and then after that we have a question and answer for the three. Then after that, photo detector. Lepas tu solar cell. Okay, make sure your whatever comment I given to other groups, other people, you take note for your presentation. Make sure it has to have energy band diagram of the PN junction. Especially solar cell. Biasanya solar cell yang tak bagi. Okay, so those who do on solar cell, make sure it's there. Okay, I think that's all for today. So lega, atau saya lega. Okay, can we have somebody reciting the dua?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين اللهم اغفر لنا ذنوبنا ولوالدينا وارحمهما كما ربيانا صغيرا اللهم اكشف عنا من البلاء والوباء والفحشاء والمنكر والطعن والفتن ما لا يكشفه غيرك ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار صلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Just to note, actually on the Islamization, I like Azam's Islamization. I never throughout my 3-4 years, nobody used that ayat before. So Solin also interesting, but I don't really understand. So if you can make it concise and direct, that'd be nice.
It's because the time them.
Huh? Bukan time, your explanation tu berterabur, sorry lah. Macam you. Cuba explain very concise sikit, biar orang faham. Then this is also a training of your how to do good presentation, sayang. Okay. Alright, thank you very much. Let's close with the tasbih kifarah and surah al-Nas. Subhanakallahumma bihamdika nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilaik. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wal 'asr. Innal insana lafi khusr illa alladhina amanu wa 'amilus solihat wa tawasaw bil haqq wa tawasaw bis sabr. Okay, assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.